Hi, welcome to this series on Taekwondo techniques. This time we're going to be looking at double strike techniques, so where we're doing two strikes simultaneously. Obviously these are a lot harder to block because it's hard enough to block one technique. Blocking two techniques at the same time is very, very hard, and therefore it's quite an effective way of attacking. So we're going to start from ready position. We're going to step forward with our left. We're going to step forward with our left foot, and from this position into a cat stance. Okay, so 90% weight on your back foot, and 10% or well 5 to 10% on the front foot, 90 to 95% on the back foot. You've got the ball of your foot on the ground like so, both knees bent. So classic cat stance. Okay, so from this position, what we're doing is we're going to strike. We're going to do a low-high strike. So the left hand is going to strike low, and the right hand is going to strike high. So whichever foot is forward, and in this case it's the left foot, that will be the low strike. Okay. Now the way the hands are held in this particular technique, so you'll often see sometimes when they're taught, the more modern way of teaching it, you're literally holding the hands like this and you're doing the technique as a strike. And that's quite a common way of teaching this technique. I prefer to teach the older way, so if you look at where this technique originally came from, you'll usually find the technique done almost as grabbing techniques. Okay, so what you're actually doing when you do this particular technique is you're grabbing the groin and you're grabbing the throat at the same time. So if you're in a self-defense scenario where you're really, really close, you just go boom, straight in, grab the groin, grab the throat. I've won the fight without any more messing around. Okay, so people usually don't tend to fight so much when you do that. Okay, so that's the technique. So from this position here, we're grabbing, and as I say, I prefer more open hand sort of clawing techniques, but you'll also see it done as two strikes. So it's actually done as almost like a pushing technique, striking under the chin and to the groin this way to drive someone back. Okay, but I think you get more control if you grab. Okay, so that's the first technique. The second technique we're going to do is a double uppercut with the middle knuckle. So what you're doing is you're extending the middle knuckle like so in both fists. You're holding the fist relatively solidly, because if you extend it and there's nothing behind it, it tends to just buckle too easily. So you've got to hold the fist relatively solidly, and you're coming up in a circle like so, and you're driving the knuckles upwards, and you're hitting either into the floating ribs, so you're striking it, which is really, really sore, or you're coming up underneath the armpits. Okay, so if you look at the starting motion of this, so you've come from this position here, we've done our double palm strike like so, and then you're actually circling this way, so you're covering, so if somebody's coming in to grab or to double strike or whatever, you're covering this way, and obviously their hands are up nice and high, so when I come in low, I'm coming in and hitting the floating ribs or coming up underneath the armpits. Now obviously, if you get hit into the ribs or under the armpits, that's quite sensitive and it hurts. Okay, so that's the basic position. So we're starting from our ready position. We're coming in left foot forward into cat stance, double low high strike with the left low right high, and then circling movements this way, and double uppercut with the four knuckles, so the middle knuckle sticking out, driving it up like so. Again, very, very hard techniques to block. When you're trying to block two things at once, very, very difficult. Okay, so practice that please, give it a go.